Can't make this shit up, people. So last year I made a video on the 2014 Royal Rumble where a near 50-year-old man who wasn't wrestling for 3 or 4 years came back and won the Rumble to ultimately get booed, while the fan favorite wrestler did not get in the Rumble and ultimately later on got added to it to win the belts. Fortunately, he got injured, and we'll talk about that too. But somehow, some way, WWE has managed to make a pay-per-view that's more fucking terrible than the one last year. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they have the audacity to do it. I don't know how they have the balls to do it. But yeah, they did it. And let's make no mistake here. We can't always get what we want, especially as fans. We don't always know what we want. And we're not always right. You know, we always don't know what's right and best for business and all that other bullshit they keep saying on TV. However, this was a clear-cut case, once again, that they could have done things much more differently and could have done it right to excite people, entice people, and more importantly, you know, get people to watch the product and be entertained. That is the whole point of this. Now, the whole thing with the Royal Rumble is it's 30 dudes in a ring, tossed over the top rope, and the winner goes to WrestleMania. I want to say this first off. The Ascension New Age Outlaws match was kind of mad at me. Divas match, I think, was awful. I think Paige and Natalya deserve better. I think Natalya deserves a run now with the belt. But the triple threat match, the Usos versus Mizdow, and I think the opener match with Cesaro and Tyson, they were all pretty good matches. I don't have any complaints. I think Rollins completely stole that match, the triple threat match with the 450 splash. I like Jizz. I was like, ugh! And the table spot with Brock Lesnar. I thought that was great. I understand why Brock is going to win. They're paying him the big bucks to be the monster heel. Here's where the problems come in. So, there's like, you know, if you listen to the CM Punk podcast when he quit and he talked to Colt Cabana, it's word for word almost spot on what's going on here. So, Vince McMahon is convinced that he's found his next big guy like John Cena with 4 moves. You know, you have Roman Reigns, who was the big guy of the Shield when they broke up. You know, now he's on his own, and he says all these cheesy things that Vince feeds him, and he can barely cut the promos, and he doesn't really have the greatest matches, and I think he even botched a match recently at the Big Show, and he undeservingly won Superstar of the Year when he was out half the year and only had like 1 singles match. You know, I'm not saying that I hate Roman Reigns. I think he's cool and he's got his own things going on, sort of, but he was clearly voted not, you know, just by everybody, not ready for the main event push. I get where they're coming from, where they want new talent and they want the next big guy, because John Cena's not getting any, you know, younger. However, I don't think this was the way to do it. Hell, I wouldn't even have been pissed off if my hopeful pick, Daniel Bryan, you know, lost the Rumble. It's just the way they did it was fucking awful. It could have been anyone. My wild card pick was Bray Wyatt, and I think they scooped around him a little too much too. So this thing started off really strange. Bray Wyatt was conquering all these dudes left and right. And I know this is nitpicking, but I can't fucking stand when they bring in all these talents, especially guys who are injured, and they wipe them out in 1 second. Like, if you're going to do that, at least have the guy make it in the final 4 guys. That is my unofficial rule in my head. However, they did not do that with Bray Wyatt. And it was cool because he cut promos and he really did look like a tough motherfucker. The thing that I did like about this was they had the legends come in. They always have legends and guys randomly show up. And Bubba Ray Dudley came back to a huge pop. He was great. And then he got wiped out. And, you know, he did his move with R-Truth, and, you know, even Diamond Dallas Page came back and did the Diamond Cutter, and I thought, holy shit, like, they actually did good on the Legends for once. They didn't just toss them out like fucking ragdolls and say, oh, well, I hope you enjoy your 5 seconds of glory, you know, not that you didn't sacrifice all these years ago for the fans. So, they do that, and, you know, listen, I like my big dudes, like my Rybacks, my Bray Wyatts, my Rusevs, you know, those kinds of guys I like because they're able to do shit, sort of. I know Ryback's debatable to people, but I think we've all, I speak for everybody, maybe this generation, when I say we're sick of seeing these 6'5" dudes that are like this big, that can barely move and do the same shit over and over again. This is the generation that wants to see average dudes, you know, who are very athletic and physical and very, you know, quick. You know, guys like Daniel Bryan, who's technical. You know, Ziggler's, guys like that. You know, Seth Rollins, Ambrose, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, they want to see those guys thrive and do really good. But unfortunately, it's strange how Vince McMahon once again has this weird fetish for big dudes. I'm telling you, the amount of big dudes that was in this year, Vince McMahon big guys, the amount of Vince McMahon big guys that was in this match this year, you could take a shot for every single fucking one of them that came out. I mean, by the end of the match, I felt like we were watching like one of my old like B-movie films where all the fucking monsters fighting each other. They were all like 6 foot something dudes just beating the shit out of each other. I mean, it's not entertaining after a while. It's not realistic. You know, Daniel Bryan, who's arguably the fan favorite, let's put it out there, regardless if he won or not, should not have been wiped out so fast. I think he came in at number 10, and I felt like he was barely in the ring. And then, you know, you have guys that just came back out of their retirement, like Eric Rowan, who got wiped pretty quick, but we all kind of knew that. You know, guys like Ziggler, who came in at number 30 with a huge bang, and guys like Ryback. And yeah, you know what? Maybe they weren't going to win the Rumble. Who knows? But they should have done more with them. Instead, it was like big guys and heels and just like that. I always say this. I always feel like WWE has too many heels, and I understand it to the point where like you always need a good bad guy, but holy fuck, there's a lot of bad guys. If you like watch the Rumble, count how many bad guys are in the ring compared to good guys. It's kind of fucking crazy. You know, there really wasn't anything shocking, like no Orton return for some of the Orton fans out there. You know, we heard about The Rock, but we'll talk about that in a second. But, you know, it's like the final 4 guys was such a face-palming moment because you saw it coming a mile away. Or the final 5, I guess. You know, you had Rusev hiding under the fucking ring the whole time, like Santino Marella in 2011. But in any case, you know, you have Big Show and you have Kane, 2 veterans in WWE who are, what, like 7 foot something? What? Against Dean Ambrose and Rollins. Rollins, I wish. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. I mean, how the fuck do you not see the winner coming from a mile away? Alright? They get up, they're doing their 2-on-2 thing, and they beat each other. Ambrose gets wiped the fuck out, and then, of course, you know, Roman has to come in, and he's got to look strong, guys. You remember, if you watch the podcast, they got to make Roman look really strong. And I'll never forget this. The booing was going on the entire fucking pay-per-view, and there's a part where, like, Big Show and I think Kane have to lift Roman up, and you just hear, bullshit, like, being chanted. Just look at Big Show's face. It perfectly sums up everything. Because he even was like, yeah. Like, he had to break character and go, you're fucking right. This is stupid. How is it realistic that you have 2 7-foot fucking guys go against this scrub, and this scrub just happens to beat them both? Come on. That is total John Cena shit. And then the best part is, like, they all chanted for Rusev because they didn't want Roman to win, and Rusev, of course, lost. And then, to add more salt to the wound, they decided that because the booing was going to be so immense, they actually looked forward to the booing. Like, I think there's a quote by Vince on it. He says he knew it was going to happen. That they had the balls to bring The Rock in out of nowhere because they're related and whatever, him and Roman. And, oh yeah, you know, woohoo, congratulations, buddy. Dude, it was like 5 seconds of fucking cheering, and then it just went straight into booing. And again, The Rock's face said it all too, because he was all like, what the fuck? And if you really want to see some shit, look at the interview after. The Rock completely breaks character because he can't deal with how shitty of a response it was. You know, it's one thing if you're going to push a guy that you could see is ready for something and people really get behind. But, you know, if you're going to skip out on all the other guys that bust their asses time and time again, cut great promos, do great matches, do great things, you know, what is the fucking point? You know, I get that they're billing Brock Lesnar as this big, undefeatable beast. We paid this motherfucker a whole bunch of money. Moo, moo, moo. But honestly, the guy shows up like 4 times a year. He's not that intimidating anymore. I mean, he's strong as fuck and he's a genetic freak. But honestly, I think they already ruined that character too. I don't see what the point is. And, you know, I was saying they should have went with like Bray because at least Bray is fucking crazy and Bray is big and I mean, not like what I was saying, but he could at least move. And you know, he can at least add something interesting to this. You know, now it's just going to be, you know, Samoan Cena versus Brock Lesnar. There's no hype in that. And they just said they're not going to do anything what they did last year where they made it a triple threat. So, no, you know, it's not going to be what you want it to be. So basically, like it or not, we're basically going to be stuck with Roman as champion, provided, maybe hopefully Rollins will cash on him. But holy fucking shit, man. I mean, enough of this. How many times do your fans have to tell you, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, that your ideas suck cock? I don't get it. And again, you know, you could be the devil's advocate and you could say, well, again, we'll never get what we want and we're not always right, and you're 100% on the money. But don't settle for mediocrity, folks. You can't settle for mediocrity, okay? If you're paying for the network, you're watching the shows, you're paying for the pay-per-views, you're buying the merchandise, you have to... You know, if you're a fan, you have to support things that you like. If the company is not giving you shit that you like, you have to say, fuck you. Because that's just how it is. And if you don't do that, then you are basically settling for mediocrity. You're settling for a shitty product. And that's exactly what's going on. The last months of Raw have been awful. The storylines have been awful. The booking has been awful. What are they fucking doing over there in fucking Connecticut or wherever they are on the road writing this shit? They have to get the shit together. I keep saying this, but I mean... I watch it because I'm a loyal fan, but I'm not a fucking idiot. None of us are fucking idiots unless you want to be an idiot. Come on. Did all of you really want to see Roman win? Because, come on, this is bullshit. I think this is fucking ridiculous, okay? Ridiculous. No excuse for this. So now we have to deal with this crappy... You know, and that's the other thing, like... a lot of people are watching this pay-per-view just to see the boos. If you were prepared to boo, that's fucking awful. And I don't know if I said this in the video, but after the pay-per-view, Psycho City is a former veteran. He was in the back and he was tweeting. He said fans were so pissed. They were cursing out scriptwriters leaving the building. They were blocking wrestlers' cars. Roman had to get out like 2 hours late. I mean, you royally fucked yourself. That canceled WWE Network thing had over 16,000 retweets or trends or whatever last night. It was fucking crazy. They had like 20,000 downvotes on their page of the pay-per-view on Facebook. You have to be fucking kidding me. Guys and gals, I hope this, I hope you agree with this. Please leave a comment below. This pay-per-view was shit. I mean, okay, it wasn't entirely shit. The Rumble sucked. Triple Threat and the other stuff was great, but, I mean, come on, that's why you watch it. The Royal fucking Rumble. So what are we gonna do for Mania now? Oh, and that's the other thing, really fast forward, just my 2 cents here. Cena versus Rusev is retarded. Okay, I said it. Somebody else, somebody new should win the U.S. title off of Rusev and break his undefeated streak. Should not be Super Cena. He does not need the U.S. title. My vote is still for Ryback. Just saying. Anyways, guys, tell me in the comments below what you think, and, I don't know, man. Vince, just retire, man. It's game over, man.